When teaching symbols for communication, keep in mind that the long-term goal or purpose is language development. We aren't just teaching symbol identification or narrow forms of communication such as requesting. We want to support students in developing a full range of communicative functions so that they can be more successful in and out of school. Given this goal, we need to be prepared to use a well-organized set of symbols from the beginning. Presenting only a few symbols at a time may allow a child to communicate in a limited way more quickly, but a limited set of symbols severely restricts our ability to model the use of symbols as a means of communication. A well-organized set of symbols will allow us to demonstrate how they are used across a range of communication contexts and functions throughout the day. Returning each time to the same well-organized set of symbols and using them flexibly to communicate across the day supports communication development and language learning over time. Taking this approach means that we have to recognize the difference between the range of symbol-based communication functions we want to model for students and the symbols we expect them to use in their own communication. The immediate goal is not for students to use all of the symbols we've introduced functionally in their own communication, but for them to interact with others who are modeling symbol-based approaches to communication. Over time, we expect that students will begin to use more and more symbols for a wider range of communication purposes, but we have to recognize that that is not where we are starting. Often, when educators think about communication symbols, they think about communication boards that look something like this. When you look at the examples that are provided in this particular communication board, you'll see that the emphasis is on commenting and asking questions rather than labeling and answering questions. While this reflects a step in the right direction because it allows students to communicate for a range of purposes during things like shared book reading, it isn't quite general enough to support use across activities and environments. Imagine taking the core words from this display. These words are more, bad, no, no, and I. And then imagine including them in a well-organized set of vocabulary. Students and teachers could still use these words during shared book reading, but they'd be available during the rest of the day when a student might reply, I know, when asked a question, or request more or no more during a particular activity. The point is that these flexible core words should be organized in a way that makes them accessible throughout the day and across contexts, rather than offering small sets that are specific to one activity or one context.